ESP Specialist in Fabrication is located at 169 Little Phoebe Church Road in Folkestone, Georgia. President Mark Pickering and his employees utilize the latest technology with a skilled workforce to supply customers with the best custom fabrication possible. Serving clients at home and abroad makes ESP a premier employer in Charlton County. For all your specialty and fabrication needs, contact ESP at 912-496-2583 today. They're also on Facebook at ESP Specialist Fabrication. ESP is a proud sponsor of Charlton Sportsnet.
Okefenokee Rural Electric Membership Corporation has been providing quality electric service at a competitive price to residential, commercial, and industrial customers in southeast Georgia and northeast Florida since 1939. For tips and advice on how to save electricity and stretch your energy dollars, call 1-800-262-5131 and speak to your marketing representative. We are a cooperative owned by those we serve.
Hey Indian fans, did you know you're eligible to join the United First Federal Credit Union? We are your hometown financial institution offering services such as online banking, mobile deposit, free checking, and much more. And if you're in the market to purchase a vehicle, our auto loan rates start as low as 2.99 for those who qualify. We are conveniently located at 3773 2nd Street South in Folkestone. Federally insured by NCUA and equal housing lender.
Good evening and welcome back to the Coach Mack Show. I'm Adam Bill for Charlton Sportsnet, along with head coach Rich McCorder of the Charlton County Indians. Coach, it's Frederica Week last week. Good crowd followed us over there to St. Simon's Island Friday night.
Very good crowd. Their head coach told me that he thought it was as big a crowd as he's seen around their facility over there. And again, I don't think their lack of bleachers really kept anybody away, because it seemed like we had a big crowd on our side and a big crowd on theirs, and it was a very tough football game, and they're a very good football team, and I think that there's some exciting plays for people to see.
That was a lot. I told Coach Cruz, he was up there doing the game with me in the second half, and I told Coach Cruz in that third quarter, those first 45 seconds, it seemed like arena football there for a little while.
I tell you, it was. I don't know if I've watched a lot of football. I've been involved in a lot of games, and I don't know if I've ever seen three back-to-back kickoff returns for touchdowns before. And it goes without saying that Saturday and Sunday during our coaches' meetings, we pretty much took apart most of our special teams, especially kickoff team. We took it all apart and rebuilt it, and hopefully it'll be a little bit better. Hopefully we'll. And I can't really, off the top of my head, I can't think of the last time we gave up a kickoff return in a game, let alone back-to-back, two of them in a game. I don't know if we've ever done that, but that was discouraging, and thank goodness we were able to return one of our own along with it.
We have all that. We have some highlights coming up a little bit later. Usually this time during the show we hit on some stats. I've got the stats there on the device. If you want to hit on any of those you see in particular, you want to.
Well, one thing that stood out, and it stood out for those people who watched the game, was on offense, we're just not real good on offense right now. We've struggled. We didn't really put up a lot of numbers offensively. I think total receiving was 99. Total rushing was 115, but I felt like we had a kid step up at running back, and that was Tony Cobb. He's a sophomore. Tony really, the thing with the running back position, you have to really hit the point of attack. You got to hit it hard to get through there. You can't get in there and dance and change direction, and that's something with with our guys. We keep telling them, listen, if it's not necessarily there, that's where it's soft at. So try to knock your way through there and get off a good run. But Tony Cobb was our leading rusher. He carried the ball 9 times for 47 yards, but his average was 5.2, which that's a nice average. And he'll be our starting running back this week. He's deserved that right, and hopefully he'll just keep hitting it hard and going hard and that sort of thing. You know, we've talked a lot about our offensive line, the improvements we need there. The film showed we did have improvements. We saw some things we liked. At center, Nolan Crawford, he's a junior. He got his first start at center at the varsity level. I think we only had a couple snaps that weren't real good, but the rest of the snaps were really good. And what I saw of our offensive line, it seems like we're really knowing what we need to be doing better than we have. Coach Murray's doing a great job with that crowd. Where we're hurting at a little bit is our athleticism, and we've got to either they've got to pick it up or we've got to find new guys. You're going to see a lot of some new faces in new spots this week. We're still trying to adjust on both sides of the ball, really adjust on special teams and find the right combination, the right chemistry, if you will, on the field.
I know Friday night it seemed like the passing game was kind of hit and miss a little bit, and went to that two-back set, and I believe it was the second quarter. And it looked like the offensive line was starting to really kind of come together going downfield, you know, when Maxwell had his touchdown.
Yeah, we again, it's every phase of our game, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, coaching, whatever, preparation, it's still not where it needs to be. We feel like right now that we're further behind than we were last spring when we went to Camden to play. We had 9 practices in the spring to get ready for a spring scrimmage, which was Camden. I felt like our kids were more focused, had an urgency to get better for that one single game during those 9 practices than we have any time this year. And I don't know why that is or what exactly is going on, but we're talking to them about being focused, about having your feet where your mind is, and focusing on what we're trying to do right now, and that's been some problems. I feel like our physical toughness is not where it needs to be. Our mental toughness isn't where it needs to be. Coming into, we felt like as a coaching staff, we got out-coached last week. I feel like we got outplayed last week. I felt like, we had a lot more bodies than we had. We had a lot of kids going both ways, and basically all we did was outlast them. And, you want to win, but you can't feel great about a win the first game of the season when you're executing on both sides of the football and special teams as poorly as we are right now. So we've got to get better. We're trying new things in practice. We're right now and I'm not a big proponent of long drawn out practices, but we've had to add some time to our practices to really hit on some things. And sometimes you've heard coaches say, we're going to have a great hour and 45-minute practice, even if it takes us 3 hours to do it. And that's kind of where we're at right now. It takes us 3 hours to get a good hour and a half sometimes. So that's kind of where we're at there. Defensively, we felt like our D-line was going to be the strength. They did make some big plays. All those guys up there, especially our 2 inside guys, really Bryce Manning and Lance Glover, both those guys were really strong inside. Leading tackler, it was our leading tackler a year ago, Travis Ray. He led us in tackles. He made a lot of really good plays till he got injured. But again, the play of the game was Randy Nelson really sniffing out the spot pass down by the goal line and just commits to it, makes the interception, takes it right in for the go-ahead touchdown. That was a huge play by Randy. But again, I don't know what it is. But we had a lot of guys out last Friday with injuries.
You spoke about that last week.
Well, this week's no different. The only thing's different is some of the same guys plus a few. We've got maybe up to 3 to 4 guys out on defense that played last Friday night. Offensively, we've got a couple guys out on offense. It's just, we try to, I don't know how to explain why it's happening. We lift hard in the weight room to prevent injuries. We try to be smart in practice in what we do, but everything that's happening to us is happening to us in the game, whether it's ankles and knees and shoulders and things like that. And sometimes you'll have a run of things like that. And right now we do. Josh Williams, number 21, who's starting on every special team, first guy in on defense, goes in right away on offense against Pierce County, non-contact, was at the end of a kickoff coverage play. He tore his ACL and tore his meniscus, so it's a blown out knee. It happened to him almost a year ago to the day, the other knee, on the same special team, kickoff coverage. And again, he wasn't touched at the end of the play. It was just a change of direction thing, and it happened. So he was out all last year, and now his senior year, he's out the whole senior year. And and he's really he's been part of the program for so long, and you hate to see that. But we have a lot of other guys that are banged up, and I guess as a coach, as a coach, the last thing you want to do is have one of your players injured. But yet also as a high school coach, you gotta communicate with your players. Is this a discomfort? Is it just pain, or is it really an injury? And we don't have an athletic trainer. We're not in a situation where we can get one. So it's really left up to the coaching staff. And right now, to be on the safe side, all we can do is tell a kid, I'm sorry, we can't play you. If we had an athletic trainer, then that would be their call. That's what they're trained to do. And as a football coach, if a kid tells you, hey, I'm hurt, okay, you're hurt, you can't play, you're out. So that's kind of where we are right now. So that's kind of the way we got to go. So, and I know game night, it's probably the first thing on my mind is the fact that you're in charge of all this going on, but you also have to make calls when it comes to athletic injuries. So, so basically the way we got to handle that is we either got to beg the other trainer to come over, and they really don't care to do that because they got their own kids to worry about, and they don't want to be liable for your kids. About all they can do is just say, well, he's out, and that's really all we can do is you're out. So if a kid comes up hurt, right now you're just simply out.
It's not just X's and O's.
No, it's not, and really it's the most important thing we do is taking care of our kids, and that's we take that serious, and I feel like that the last thing we want to do is be part of a kid being hurt. So if a kid tells me he's hurt, he's simply going to have to be out since we don't have anybody else to tell us differently. But defensive line, we had 5 sacks during the game. Those guys did great. Preston Lynch had 1.5. Bryce Manning had 1. Travis Ray from the linebacker position on the blitz had 1. Blackshear, linebacker, he had to start at linebacker. I think he had his first start since his freshman year. He had a sack, and then Quentin Kinney, who came into the game with an ankle injury, he declared himself he can go, so we got him out there some. He got a half a sack also. Right now at the linebacker position, we have 3 of our 4 linebackers, starting linebackers, are out, until we figure something out otherwise. On the defensive line, we're okay. On the offensive line, we're going to be without Khalil Burrows, a big 350-pound offensive guard. He's out.
The injury bug has hit us early.
Yeah, it has, and so we're just trying to make it through, put together a group that we can put on the field and compete against what we think's a much improved Brantley County football team.
Coach, let's jump into the highlights before we get into next week's game, if you don't mind.
Sure.
The first one is it was actually a busted play. Raquan Anderson picks up a loose ball. and still is able to find Saquon Clark. I believe it's a 55-yard touchdown.
Yep. Well, that's one thing we knew. We knew that Raekwon had the ability to make things happen above the X's and O's, and get freed up, and he did right there. But there's times when we need Raekwon to set and throw instead of moving so much. But again, this is just a great play by Raekwon above the X's and O's, and finding Saquon Clark for the touchdown.
Saquon was streaking down the line.
Getting walked down there at the end, but it's a touchdown.
That's what counts, the scoreboard.
That's right.
Coach, this is the third quarter, first kickoff return by Frederica. I want to, if you don't mind, it might be painful. If you don't mind, kind of go through what happened.
Well, the biggest thing right here, if you can see, we're out of lanes. We're behind each other. We're not shedding blocks. Running by the ball, just not funneling in. There's so many things we did wrong, and they had some kids that can really run, really go, and as far as speed, we're not really a fast football team. In track, we proved that. We don't have that speed we've had in the past, and so you don't see nobody running anybody down here. So there's so many things wrong that we did on this that we really worked on today. We started practice off today. Actually, we started things off in the film room going over nothing but kickoff coverage. And then as soon as we hit the field, we went right to kickoff coverage. And then at the end of practice, we went to kickoff coverage. So tomorrow we'll probably do the exact same thing. We'll start off with kickoff coverage, end with kickoff coverage, and be football in the middle. So we're really spending a lot of time on that.
Here's Saquon Clark again, a second TD of the night. I'm not sure the yardage on this one. Coach Cruz had it at 80, I believe is what he had. This is Saquon's kickoff return that answered the one that just happened literally seconds ago.
Yeah, the thing, we did have some key blocks on this. From our angle, you could see a real key block right behind that pole. But the thing we tell our kids is, when you return punts, return kickoffs, you got to hit it as fast as you can in there because they're coming down the field almost as a line. And if you can penetrate that line and get through there, now you've reversed everything and you're going through there. And right here, and I can't remember, I think it might have been Ethan Maxwell might have had the key block on the safety that made it go the distance. But that was a great effort by everybody right there, and really a good job. He hitting it up in the middle like we talk about, like we work on.
He hit the hole pretty quick.
He did. Hit it pretty quick. Really only had to make one adjustment. Bounced off a tackle and kept going. And then, of course, we turn around and, after we find the orange tee, which that takes a while. Usually find it from a manager. We have to, we kick off and they return another one for a touchdown.
Well, I skipped the last one, the last kickoff return that went back. Let's move forward into the game, still in the third quarter. After a good drive, particularly by the offensive line, moving the ball with the running game down the field, Raekwon finds Vernon Maxwell.
Really good job finding Ethan Maxwell right here. Ethan has really come on. Ethan, he has a lot of potential, and that's something that I'm always telling him, and he probably gets sick of hearing it. I'm the one telling him all the time. You have the God-given part to do really good things on the football field. Now you've just got to make up your mind and start doing them, and that's starting to click. That's starting to click on both sides of the ball. He had a real, he had a good night. He had two solo tackles and on the defensive side of the ball. Had some good catches. He's going to end up, if he makes up his mind, he could be a special football player down the road. Now he's only a sophomore. He's a sophomore, and he's got a great body, and he's got good athleticism, and he can get to the point to where he could be a special football player.
All right. The last one, I know Maxwell, I called him Vernon a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize to him for that. This last play, this was actually at our end of the field. They had me down there in a crow's nest down there. But the folks at Frederica were really good to us. Can't complain. It actually set us up perfectly for the angle for the winning touchdown of the game that night. But Randy Nelson, it looks like he reads this almost before the quarterback even throws it.
He does, and this is something we worked on. We knew through film prep and through the things we do in practice that this was a play that they love. If you had all their plays, this was the number one pass play. And we went through this, worked through this, and Randy saw this play probably 24 times in practice on Tuesday and Wednesday, and Randy really jumped it and did a great job with it, and I'm really happy for Randy. He's a good kid, and he's been banged up kind of all year, and last year he's a little bit banged up, and right now he's banged up, and he's probably going to be out. We don't know how severe, but again, how can we tell? But there's a good chance he'll as of today, if we were to play today, he'd be out. He wouldn't even dress. So, we've got to see how that works out. But really, really proud of Randy Nelson on that. Randy's a junior and a good kid and a good football player.
All right, well, I'm glad he got that big play right there.
And that was it. That was a game saver. You look at the game, we were in a lot of times it was really a game of field position. We were on their side of the 50 for a long time in the first half, and we came away with basically nothing. And then there was times later on where that all got switched around, and then again, field position is so key, especially anytime somebody's struggling. At least if you can have field position on your side and you're struggling, at least you got something going for you. And that was an instance right there where field position was big, had them backed up. Tie ball game, they just can't sit on it down there. They got to try to push it down the field with time running out. I think less than 2 minutes. And like I said, Randy saw that play all week, and he jumped it and made a great job. Randy Nelson.
One more time, if you don't mind.
Sure.
That highlight, because it looks like he's right. Well, I don't have a pointer. We haven't gotten that fancy with it yet. But it looks like right up here at the top, there you see Randy right behind Daniel Mack waving his hand. He's almost breaking, if you watch him, as the quarterback's dropping back. So that's what you say. You saw
and that's what he saw all week. All of his keys just indicated to him, and the guy he was over goes down to block, and then that's one thing we work on is he's going down the block, come off his hip. That's where the ball's going to be, and that's exactly what he did. And again, just after the game, I just go up to Randy. I said, "Hey, thanks. we needed that. Yeah, we needed that bad."
How about back there in the background, the band of pride and the fans? I mean, the place almost a home crowd.
It really felt like there's been times where we've talked about how we felt like we had more people there than they did. We really may have. Now, Frederica's a small school. And we're a little bit bigger than them, I think, probably enrollment. I really don't know that for a fact, but we had a lot of people there, and a lot of the reasons they're there is not just because of football. It's there because we have a great band. We have one of the best band in single A by far, and we have a great group of cheerleaders, and we do have a bunch of good kids on the football team, and people appreciate that. And a lot of parents there, and a lot of people from the community. So we appreciate that crowd. Now we hope out here in the swamp Friday night we can really fill it up.
All right, Coach, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll hit on the senior spotlights.
Sure.
Daniel Mack, number 14, and Lance Carter, number 9.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Since 2009, Southeastern Automotive Group has been buying for and selling to most of the franchise dealerships in the area. What if you were able to bypass the big dealerships with the big markups? Buy direct from the supplier. Save thousands of dollars on your next vehicle purchase. Have a trade-in? No problem. With used vehicles in such high demand, Southeastern Automotive Group has dealers ready to buy your trade. If Southeastern Automotive Group doesn't have the perfect vehicle for you, using their vehicle locator program, they will have it shipped in without any hassle or haggling you hate. With over hundreds of thousands of cars available at auctions across the nation, your next vehicle purchase is just a click away.
Folkestone Auto Supply, located at 4439 2nd Street North in Folkestone, Georgia, is owned and operated by the Dasher family. They have everything you need bumper to bumper for domestic and foreign car parts. Big truck operators, they have you covered as well with belts, seals, hoses, welding supplies, and so much more. They even have lawnmower parts, blades, and accessories. Stop by today and see the whole crew. Miss Joe, Pam, Little Sammy, Stephen, Dylan, and Big Sammy himself. It's Folkestone Auto Supply.
Folkestone Pharmacy and Electronics, located at 3885 Main Street in the heart of downtown Folkestone. They're Folkestone's original hometown pharmacy with 49 years serving the community. They have everything you need, including household items, prescription medications, high-tech electronics, and much more. Their experienced and friendly staff in the pharmacy and electronics department are ready to serve you. Folkestone Pharmacy and Electronics is a proud sponsor of Charlton Sports. Go Indians! Whistling.
Welcome back to the Coach Mack Show. Our senior spotlights, Lance Carter, number 9, and number 14, Daniel Mack.
Two outstanding defensive linemen, two kids that have played a lot of football for Charlton County. The first one, Lance, one of my favorite all-time kids, just a wonderful, wonderful young man, and I think, these kids are in the same class as my youngest daughter, Hagen, and I can remember Lance all the way from when he was, kindergarten. I can still remember him at that age and seeing him come all the way through, and even back then he was one of my favorite little guys, and he's not so little anymore. He's a weight room monster. In the weight room, people say, well, a lot of that you're just kind of natural with it, but he works so hard at it in the weight room, and just does such a great job in there. Just doesn't take days off, doesn't take sets of reps off, and he has really earned everything he's gotten in the weight room through hard work, and he has really developed. Last year he really came on, and this year he's really doing a great job at nose guard or really kind of a one technique inside, depending on what we're doing with him, and I just, he's like we talked last week. If you don't like Lance Carter, that's a you problem. That's not a Lance problem. He's a wonderful kid and really very, very likable, and everybody around school just loves Lance Carter. And I find it hard to believe that he's a senior, where he's going to be done with us after this year. And then Daniel Mack. Daniel has been a kid who's really probably one of the most improved players we've had in the last couple years. As a sophomore, he was kind of tall but wasn't real strong yet, and you really didn't know how he was going to fit in or what position he was. And then last year he kind of grew up a little bit and started getting a little heavier and working harder in the weight room and being a little bit more physical. And really had a good year and made some really good plays. Really had some great flash plays. And then this offseason, spring football, he even grew up some more to the point now he's asking questions, and he asks you, am I doing this right? Do I need to do this or this? So he's really starting to mature. And you can see there is times on the football field where he will dominate a play. He's 6'4", 240 pounds. He could still get a lot heavier, a lot stronger. There's some junior colleges that have been looking at him, so maybe he might get a chance to play at that level. With that, and when I say 240, that might be a little heavy. He might be not quite 240, but if you look at him, he's not at all carrying any excess weight at all. You can continue to put a little bit more weight on him, and he can be a much heavier guy and still be very fast and very good athlete. So those right there, that's half of our defensive line right there, and that's two good ones right there. Two really good kids. Guys we're going to miss. Their position coach is Coach Norris Woods. Norris Woods, he played defensive line. He never got lucky enough to wear one of those skilled position numbers. Yeah, he had to wear 51, but those guys there are living the dream, getting to wear number 9, number 14. But they're really good kids, and they're team leaders, and they do some really good work for us on Friday night.
And Lance also, too, I know I spent a little time on the track with you guys.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic shot putter guy.
Very good shot putter, and you're not going to, if you ever have a chance to introduce yourself to Lance Carter, you'd be glad you did. He's a wonderful kid, wonderful young man, really good.
All right. Appreciate that. Congratulations to Lance Carter and Daniel Mack. You're our senior spotlights for this week, Brantley County Week. All right, Coach, let's dive into the Herons. They're coming to town. Last time they came to town, it was a shootout. They came out on top. We paid them back last season.
Well, they are a well-coached football team. That's one thing you're always going to see from Brantley County. Coach Gannon, he's their new coach. Coach Walker's been there for a long time and done a great job with Brantley County. Now Coach Gannon, he's taken over, and what we've seen, we've got to see a little bit of film of them against Clinch County. In the first quarter, quarter lasts 12 minutes in high school football. They had it 11 minutes of the first quarter, and it wasn't straight consecutive 11 minutes. They had it 6 minutes one time and then gave it up, and then had it 5 minutes another time. But for them to keep the football practically the entire first quarter was real impressive. Big up front. All their players are big, good strength. Their package looks like it doesn't look like a real big package right now. Not doing a whole bunch of stuff, but what they're doing, they do it very well. Throw the ball well enough to beat you in the pass game. Run the ball very well with a big offensive line that moves you. They can run up the middle, and you think you made a good defensive stop, and it's a 4-yard play. So, our linebackers are going to have to really trigger to the point of attack and try to stop them in the hole, stop them in the play. If they don't, then it's just they're just going to push it right down the field on us and get first downs. They're a good football team. I think they're very sound in special teams. Defensively, you see them, they're extremely sound, very sound in everything they do. They got one of their wide receivers, I think he's a 6'7" kid, he's a basketball player. So that's going to be a definite mismatch. I think, our corners go, 5'6", 5'6" at both of our corners. So we're giving up a foot to him. So that's going to be tough to defend. Yeah, maybe we can do that. But it's going to be a good, hard football game. And it's not going to be a game if we come in at halftime tied or down a little bit that we'll be actually discouraged, because in our minds, this thing's going to take 48 minutes to play. And it's going to be all the way to the end. It's similar to last Friday for us. We were inside 2 minutes with a tie ball game. And we didn't feel terrible about it. So we didn't feel great about the way we played, but we felt good that, that we were in a ball game inside 2 minutes to go with a chance to win. And hopefully Friday night we can stay in this ball game. We just don't let them wear us down and run us out of the place. But again, I think they're a very well coached team. His numbers are real high. Got great numbers on his roster, and it's going to be a hard football game. I think we'll have a great crowd at our game, and I think they'll have a great crowd. I think it'll be a great atmosphere, and if the weather can cooperate, man, it could be a great evening for high school football. Again, I think they're an improved football team. They do things that concern us, and that's just the big, strong offensive and defensive line. When we're just not as big and as fast as we've been in the past.
All right, Coach. We need all of our fans here Friday night. Obviously, the last time they were here, their side was full.
It was.
It was. I mean, we're only 30 minutes apart. Like you say, it makes for a great rivalry game. And we need everybody here on the home side, pack the place out. I know we have the student section down here. They'll be fired up like they were last year. So that'll be a lot of fun.
The thing is, it's just you guys. It seems like you have to explain a lot to kids anymore. But I've explained to them all week. This is a rivalry game. I mean, it's easy for them to think of Charlton, Clinch, and games like that. But I told them this is the same kind of thing. Like you said, 30 minutes away, we compete in every sport. In every sport, it's in basketball, it's hard fought rivalry. Baseball, softball, it's the same thing. And like I said, the last time they were on our field, they beat us. So they're more than capable of doing it again. And we've got to play our very best. And again, it goes back to who are we going to have? With right now, today's Tuesday. We had, Tuesday out here, 4 starters off defense, and
the linebackers.
And linebackers, and so I don't know. It's going to be. We just got to try to piece some things together and hopefully get some guys on the field and they're going to play hard.
Friday night we got that Thursday B team
here. That on the calendar. And on the schedule, it says at Ware County. And in October, it has Ware County coming to us. That's been flipped. Ware County has a junior high game in the stadium Thursday, so they want to know if they can come here, which we're doing. So this Thursday, 5 o'clock, first B-team game of the year. Come out and check it out. I think, it's very affordable, and it's a good time.
We're going to try to cover it as well. I'll have some new equipment come in, and that's going to be our guinea pig Thursday night game.
That'd be good.
Decide which equipment I'm going to bring for Friday. But anything else? Golf tournament Saturday.
Golf tournament this Saturday. I don't know if it's full or not. Right now at this point, you'll have to contact Brian Hewling at State Farm Insurance and downtown, and he can let you know if it's full or not. I know they have the sign-up sheet there now. It was at the golf course. They took it up, brought it up to State Farm. So call State Farm if you're interested in getting a 4-man team together and play some golf on Saturday.
All right, I actually had a question about that. It was Barry Edwards asking last night if we still had room in the golf tournament, so he needs to contact Brian Hewling at State Farm.
Brian Hewling's your guy.
All right, anything else we need to hit on, Coach?
I think that's it.
Well, I appreciate it as usual.
Thank you.
We'll see y'all Friday. We'll see y'all Thursday, 5:30?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. We'll see you Thursday for the B team versus the Gators from Ware County. Friday night, Brantley County Herons come to town. Y'all get here early. It's going to be full. Thank you for watching the Coach Mack Show. We'll see you Friday night.
Gant AC Heat and Electric, located at 141 West Love Street in Folkestone, Georgia. They service all makes and models of air conditioning and heating units, electric and plumbing supplies, blown installation, appliance parts and service, as well as sheet metal products. Gant is a proud sponsor of the Charlton Sports Network, Go Indians, and the Band of Pride.